Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Make Waves Ministry. My name is Ashley Rocha, and if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. I'm so happy to have you watching. I usually pick some sort of topic to cover for about 10 minutes, and then usually the next week I'll throw out another video. So this week I wanted to talk about what is our motivation for having a relationship with God. That might seem like sort of a strange question because we would think, well, because my parents told me I should follow the Lord or because my friends do or something like that. But when is the last time you actually asked yourself, what is my reason for following God? Because if we don't have a solid foundation in that, then the world is constantly going to throw all these different opinions and views at us all the time. And if we don't truly know why we are following God, and not just because our friends are or our family are following Him, if we don't have our own deeply rooted reason for that, then it's going to be really, really hard when things come up that really test our reasons for following Him and want to take away our time and our energy and move us to be focused on other things other than Him. So, I'll start. I'll start by sharing a little bit of my own story when it comes to just focusing on the Lord and what made me decide that I wanted to follow the Lord. So I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up going to church as a kid, and I really enjoyed it, really loved it. But it wasn't until I was about 15 years old that I hit a point where I asked myself, like, why do I even believe that God exists? I don't really have any solid proof of that. I didn't have any reason to think like, wow, this makes sense. Like I want to believe in him. Like these are the things that I've seen, and this is the proof that I have that he's real. So I want to believe in him. I didn't really have any of that as a child. I just grew up knowing, hey, you're supposed to go to church and you should follow God. So when I was 15, I decided to completely walk away from the Lord. And I basically told him, like, if you care about me, if you exist, if you're real, then you have to come prove yourself to me, or else it's not worth me giving my whole life to follow you if there's no proof that you're even real. And that was sort of strange and scary for me because I had grown up kind of with this feeling of like, well, if God isn't real, then I don't really know what to think or what to do if that's not true. I mean, because I had grown up with that. That's what I was used to, and so I didn't really know what life would be like without believing in God. So I spent probably about maybe 3 months just choosing to not believe and wait for him to basically prove himself to me. And that, I have to be honest, was one of the hardest times of my life because I had rooted like my entire life on believing that he was real and that he existed. And so when it came to why should you love people? Why should you be a friend? Why should you be kind? All those different things. None of them had a purpose anymore. There was no motivation. There was no reason to be kind to anyone or to even care about myself or to care about my future or where I was going in life or my friends or family or any of that. And so during that time period, it was just like everything that used to have meaning no longer had meaning. But that wasn't enough for me to convince me like this is worth laying down my life for, because obviously if there's something you believe in for 15 years of your life, then if you remove that or you change that, then things are going to feel a little bit different. So after those 3 months, I reached a conclusion that really, after almost 10 years, has still, those reasons I came up with that I eventually was like, wow, these are my reasons for why I want to follow God and why I believe in him and believe that he's real. Those three reasons are the same ones that I use still today to keep me grounded even when everything doesn't really seem to make sense and things are like confusing. And so I just wanted to share those three with you. So, kind of to finish up on that story of when I was walking away from the Lord and just wanted him to come find me, really, I did. I wanted to know if he cared enough to make the effort to come find me and to show himself to me, and that he cared and that he wanted me in a way that, he was going to come seek me out and meet me where I was, because I wasn't about to just live my whole life for something that potentially wasn't even real. And so during all that time and that like internal like battle and debate and all of that, then this is what I came down to. These three particular things. So number one, I realized that basically anyone, Christian or not, whether or not they believe in God and choose to follow God, will all believe that there is a spiritual realm, or at least an evil spiritual realm. So like people believe in, you know, evil spirits, or just being able to, sounds bad, but like, like try and speak to the dead or whatever, that, those types of things. Like people believe in an evil side of the spirit realm. So I was like, well, if that's true and that there are enough stories and things to prove that there is an evil spiritual realm, then we can probably agree that there is a spiritual side to life. So I was like, okay, well then there's a spiritual side. So got that. So then my second reason was there have been so many stories of people who, believers or not, like passed away or had something like happen to them, and they're all over YouTube, and they'll share their story about how they had this experience, and there's only two places they will describe that they go to. Either it's a place that sounds like hell, or it's a place that sounds like heaven. And that was really strange to me, because I was like, well, that's kind of a strange coincidence that the two only places that people could describe going to with these like death experiences and then coming back and being able to share those stories, those two places are also described and talked about in the Bible. And no one has ever talked about an in-between world where it was like kind of sucked but then also had some good things to it. People only describe these two separate places: a place of goodness and beauty and feeling like loved and complete and all these, and then the other side where they feel like death and they just want to die and there's like no way to get out and all these different things. So that was really interesting to me, the fact that people who believed and didn't believe in God could only describe these two places in all of these stories. And the Bible also claimed that those are the only two options. And so I thought that was really interesting. But then my third reason was the fact that if the fact that there is a spirit realm, even if it's just an evil one, and then people can tell stories about dying, coming back, or dreams or visions, and they're only describing these two places, then if that's true, and this book called the Bible is also claiming those same things, then my last reason for deciding, okay, this is worth it, like I think I'll follow God and believe that he's real, is the fact that in the human like heart, we have this longing for being known, loved, accepted, needed, all these different things. And you almost have to wonder, why is that there? And if those who are Christians have a relationship with God and they say that that relationship with God is enough to fill that hole when other things don't, I thought that was really strange as well. That people who are choosing to follow God and believe in him and have a relationship with him were able to say, you know what, this hole that I've been trying to fill my entire life, this God is able to fill it. And like the words in his book were enough. And it was those three things that I started to realize, okay, that's enough for me. And I really wasn't willing to risk. So once you become a believer, then you're saved. Even if you're a believer and then you decide like, wait, I don't want to believe in God, all that sort of stuff, you're still saved. But do you really want to risk the chance of not believing in God and living for yourself your whole life just to die and realize you're going to be in hell forever, or choose to believe that God is real and then die and find out that you were wrong, but hey, at least your life had so much purpose and meaning and love and you felt full even if it wasn't real. And so to me, I was like, man, I feel like the option of being wrong and ending up in hell for eternity just wasn't worth it. And the Lord continued to reveal more and more things to me to help me to really ground my faith and to have much deeper reasons than just those three. But really, those three are the ones that I was able to say as a 15-year-old, okay, I might not like see God like straight in front of me. He might not drop something from the sky. But as I began to learn to pray and to seek him and all of that, then I started to notice how things I would pray would actually like happen. And he started to become more and more real to me. So I just wanted to share that to be an encouragement to you guys. So when we're asking the question, what is our reason for wanting to follow God? Like, what are your reasons? Why would you follow God? What keeps you grounded in him, and what makes him worth following to you, so that when hard things do come, or when people ask you, why do you follow God? What are your reasons, and what are you going to say, and how would you respond? So I hope you guys have a good day, and I hope that was encouraging and helpful. So